Hi everybody, welcome back to the Creative Challenge in Illustrator. My name is Clary and I've been your host for these 2 weeks of challenges here in Adobe Live. Welcome back. I can see the amazing Wade Acuff in the chat here helping us to share all the clickable links in order to discover more about the challenges and to get started together. Also, so many other amazing people joining in. Laura, nice to see you. Kate, Keith, Megan, Afroya, Zoe, Bam, nice to see you. Fantastic. Andre, as usual, let me know where you are tuning in from. I'm always very excited to know where everybody is chatting from. And if you are watching from YouTube, make sure to head on behance.net/live so I will be able to see your comments, say hi, and we can interact during these 30 minutes together. But let's get started. And by the way, this is challenge number 8, so we have just one more to go. Although don't worry, if this is your very first time participating to the challenges, that's completely fine. You can start from today. Every single challenge is a standalone, so you can learn new techniques and sharpening your skills in Illustrator. But let me go on the landing page so you can learn more from there. And here we are. So the landing page is a wonderful place where you can learn more about the challenges. In fact, if you click on take the challenge, you will be reminded of the upcoming challenges, but most importantly, you will be able to see all the unlocked challenges. So as I mentioned, today we are at challenge number 8, so only one more to go, and it's revealed that we are going to be working on packaging design, in particular on label tags. So a particular aspect of packaging. Now, while I keep talking real quick about the second part of the challenge, which is our amazing Discord chat, I will invite you, if you want to follow along, to click on the Get Started link in order to download the Get Started file, so you can first of all get a freebie, which is a template of a label, and then of course you can work together with me either right now during the live, or if you're watching this on a replay, or if you go back and rewatch the video. In fact, if you've missed the previous stream and you want to catch up, or you find some very interesting topic that you would like to develop, you can always go back and watch the video during the weekend in your own time, whenever you want. And if one challenge is not enough, you can always scroll down and find all the previous replays and of course the starter files. If this is your very first time in Adobe Illustrator, don't forget to download it in order to get a free trial and start to get to implement some techniques and learn how to use it together during the challenges. So hopefully everyone now is downloading the file. In the meantime, click on the community chat to join our Discord. Discord is the channel where you are going to be able to submit your work. Yesterday we worked on some exciting, colorful infographic, and you can see all the beautiful submission of these previous challenges. Of course, all you have to do is to submit your challenge on the feedback challenge, which is, I believe, just right behind me. Here it is. So it's the challenge channel under feedback, and I'm going to show you at the end of the stream how to do that. And of course, we're going to talk about Behance as well. But it's time to get started and to jump into Illustrator in order to maximize our time together. And of course, don't forget that I will be staying here joined by Julia Masalska to keep going on some InDesign. We're going to be finishing off an editorial, a digital magazine, so stay tuned even after the challenge because there is more fun coming up here on Adobe Live as usual. Before getting started, I'm going to give you one more minute to perhaps 30 seconds to download the file, and I'm going to take this time to look at the chat. Anthony, nice to see you. Mallory, Susan, Andre, Katrina, fantastic. Hi everyone, nice to see you. George Carmona, I know you're tuning in from New York. I love to see the international chat. Emma Penn, nice to see you. And of course, Carol, Colleen, Uriel. Perfect. Yes, you're just in time. We're just getting started. Fantastic. Let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. I'm always super excited to see where everybody is tuning in from. Right. So first of all, if you opened the started file, you will see that you find 2 different labels, which in reality I placed so we can have an idea of a vertical layout and of a landscape layout. So portrait, which is the vertical mode, or landscape, which is the horizontal mode. And what else you can do here is to head into your layers panel, and mine is going to look a little bit different just because I was having a play before getting started here with you. But the most important thing is the guides layer. The guides layer contains the blue guides that you see right here. So if we toggle the visibility, you're going to see the blue guides disappear and reappear. And if we turn it off for just a second, what you can see is the bleed line. So I usually have many questions regarding the bleed. So I'm just going to, despite the fact that you can keep this template to use for yourself, I want to teach you how you could implement a bleed into an Illustrator file. Bear in mind, bleeds are useful when you design something for print. So of course, if you have a label, we're gonna use that. We're gonna use our file to send it to a printer. So bleed is fundamental. It's a very professional approach to print design. Let's go back real quick to the our home screen. And let's click on Create New to open a new document. And from here, all we have to do is to click on Print in order to set our intent to print. By doing so, Illustrator is gonna real quick already do a bunch of changes in the settings, like setting the color mode to CMYK, which is the standard color mode for printing, as well as changing the raster effect to 300 ppi, almost you know, you can refer to dot per inch, so DPI as well. And most importantly, we were talking about the bleed. You can set those here. I'm gonna zoom in into the screen for you to see. The standard is 3 millimeter, just like so. And once we click on create, and I'm not really bothered about the size of the document, I just want to show you what the bleed is like. So by setting this 3 millimeter bleed, you will create the red line that you can see here just outside the margin. So you have the actual page, the trim line, which will be where the printer is going to cut your file, which is this black line that is around our artboard, which is the white area of the screen, while the red line is the bleed. And just to tell you real quick what a bleed line is. So if we are here, let's say, for example, we gotta print this postcard, and we just extend our background to the blue area. What happens is we leave a white area, which is going to be the normal paper without the background. So if the printer doesn't cut it exactly, which it can happen with industrial cutting, you might see some sort of like distortion of white line sticking outside the border, and you really don't want to see that. So by extending the bleed, what we do is we extend a blue margin, so a blue background over the artboard. So even if the printer does a mistake by cutting, you will not be able to notice it. So hopefully that was useful information for everybody. And let's go back into our file and let's focus on creating our label. So we talked a lot about spring and a lot about summer and spring and flowers during this theme. So I'm going to create a label for a spring collection. And I'm just going to look in at the chat to see if there is any question. I have a question about Illustrator on the iPad. Does anyone know if there is a shape builder tool in the app? Yes, Michelle, you are able to create to use the shape builder tool on Illustrator on the iPad. Absolutely. And keep your question coming. Hello, Terry. Nice to see you. Caroline says, cannot believe this is almost the end. Don't worry, after me, Julia will take on with her 2 weeks of Illustrator Creative Challenges. So it's never the end here at Adobe Live. Every day is a busy day to learn. And as I say here always, this is a safe space to implement your techniques and try new tips in Illustrator. But let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do today, I want to talk about the type on a path. And let me know in the chat, put a hands up if you ever tried it, or maybe put a question mark, or let me know in the chat if you haven't tried to use type on a path before. But I think the little icons are very easy to understand and to communicate. Mallory saying, Michelle, yes, I believe it's a different tool. Building shape is easier on iPad. It's kind of a mix in between the Pathfinder tool and the shape builder tool, but it's pretty much, you know, you can achieve the same result, which is pretty fantastic. Right, so let's get started by clicking and holding on the rectangle tool, and then let's select the ellipse tool once the hidden tools will be revealed. Then we're gonna make sure that we click on the design layer, because the other layers are locked. So look what happened. If I wasn't another layer, I have a little pencil with a little symbol that says you cannot draw here, because that's the entire purpose of locking a layer. You'll not be able to edit it. So let's click on our design little tool. And then what we're gonna be doing here is just simply click and hold click and drag to create the ellipse, and hold in order to create a perfect circle. If you do not wish to create a perfect circle, if you just want to create an ellipse, then release the hold shift and you can create and distort the ellipse as much as you want. I'm gonna go for a circle, so I'm gonna hold the shift key on the keyboard and then press the letter V in order to transform it and move it. I'm just gonna place it here on the side, and I'm gonna use the little fill and control icons located at the bottom of the toolbar, just right here on this side. And I'm gonna double click. I'm gonna click first on the stroke and click on none to remove it. So I'm gonna set a transparent stroke, and then I'm gonna double click on the fill and select a yellow color, as we're talking about spring. So let's see if you guess what sort of shape I'm gonna be drawing right now. I'm gonna collapse our color menu and perhaps even close it. We don't need it right now. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hold on the ellipse tool to reveal more hidden shapes. In particular, I'm looking for the star tool. Click on the star tool and then click and drag to design and star. But don't let go yet. I'm still holding and clicking with my mouse, and I'm gonna use the arrow key to change the number of sides of our shape. So you can make it as pointy as you want, or in my case, I'm just gonna make it as a triangle. So starting from a star shape, that's how you create a triangle, and hold the shift in order to position it in a position it straight on your artboard. Fantastic. Now that you have changed the number of points of our star, we can keep going. Press the letter V, always to transform and activate the selection tool. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make this triangle a little bit smaller by clicking and dragging inward on the corner of its bounding box. And again, remember, if you want to distort it, just drag and transform. Hold out if you want to keep the same proportion, hold shift, and that will allow you to transform proportionally. Let's see if there is no guess of what am I gonna design? Anika, no, you haven't missed much. I'm just playing with some shapes, ready to talk about the type on a path in just a second. I just want to create first a little illustration here. Nobody guess what I'm designing? Let me know in the chat and put a little symbol if you know what I'm drawing. I'm gonna keep going for now. So I have a triangle and I have a little circle here. Then I'm gonna select the little triangle and head to the rotate tool located in the toolbar, just right here. Click once to activate the rotate tool, and you'll see that there is this little center which indicates the origin of the rotation. You see it is made in blue, and if you hold the shift key, the alt key on a Mac, that's option on a Windows, you will see these three dots appear, and by doing so you will be able to reposition the origin of the rotation. I'm gonna align it with the center of our circle, and the smart guide will allow you to know when you hit the center, because you will see the word center appear. And I see Keith and Michelle got it right. I'm doing a sun. Katarina also as well. And what I have to do here, it's simply make sure that you click on preview in order to see what you're gonna be doing. And then I'm gonna add the rotation, maybe just 20 degrees, just like so. So if you click on the preview, you will see the rotation happening. Now, if I go ahead and click on OK, it will just simply move and rotate my triangle. And I don't want that because I want to create many. So in order to create a copy, click on copy. So we will have the old triangle and the copy which is being rotated. Then keep pressing the Command D shortcut. That's Control D if you're working on a Windows machine. And look what happened. You're going to be able to repeat the shape and having the rotation moving around your circle. Fantastic. So now that we are done with our little sun, I'm going to click on the circle and then press Command C to copy, because we want to copy it first, and then Command A to select everything that we've drawn so far. So Control A if you're working on a window machine, and then Command G to group them. So now anytime that we select any of these little triangles or the circle, you're going to be able to select and move the entire shape. Fantastic. So let's press Command F in order to paste in front the copy of the circle that we have just made a second ago. And I'm just gonna double click on the fill icon in order to change color, just so we know that, it's a copy, it's not the same and we don't get confused. And we're gonna use this one in order to create a text that goes around the sun. So before doing that, I'm gonna make it a little bit larger because I want it to go above the rays. So I'm going to click and drag over the corner of the bounding box, going outward this time because I want to make it larger. And remember, as I said from the beginning, hold the Shift key to keep the proportions. And in this case, look what happened. If I hold just the Shift key, it's going to keep the proportion, but it's going to be offset in order to also transform it from the center, so keeping the same center as the original image. Make sure to hold the Shift key and Alt if you're working on a Mac. That's Option if you are on a Windows. Here we go. So we are making it larger by keeping the same center as well. And now that we have created our little outline in which we will be able to place our type, all we have to do is to click on the type tool and click and hold to reveal the hidden tools. And in this case, I'm going to select Type on a Path tool. And then you will see that you have the little type selector, and it will have a line in between them, and that means that you're ready to draw on a path. So once we have our path selected, click once in order to start place your text. And now remember, every time that you're going to be using your shape as a placeholder for a type on a path, your shape is going to disappear. So if for whatever reason you wanted to keep that circle, always make a copy, because otherwise it will just be used as the outline on which the baseline of the text will be located. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to be using, I'm going to design a tag for the collection. So spring collection 2021. Can you believe that we're in 2021? It's still blows my mind, especially after these crazy years. And then I'm going to double click and head to the properties panel in order to change the font. One of the font that I've been using lately is a font called Last Script, which I think it really fits with this beautiful spring vibe. And you can also change the size of your font. Beautiful. Let's go back and select the selection tool in order to have a little bit of a better look of this type on a path. So once you click on this type on a path, you will be presented with these little lines, which are called bracket. So these two brackets are there to signify the origin. So they will be the starting point over here, and this is the end point. Once you're done typing your text, you want to make sure that you're really precise in placing your starting and ending point, because by doing so, you will have this pointer, the bracket that sits in the middle, that will allow you to rotate the text and actually center it. And look what happened. You can also drag it inwards if you perhaps wanted to move your text inside the shape, just like so. Now, if that happens to you, and sometimes can be annoying to have this, the type going inside or outside when you're rotating, all you have to do is to hold that control key. Let me just undo to make sure that I click and do that again. So hold the command key, and when you rotate it, it will not go inside. So you will not have any issue with the type going inside. It will just move around the shape. While if I let go of the command key, that's of course control if you're working on a Windows machine, you will see that while you rotate, if you move slightly inwards the shape, you will have this thing of moving it, which is useful if that's what you want to do. But if you don't, just hit that command key when you are moving your little your type. And as you can see here, we have this magenta line that will allow you to center the text. And I'm going to try to zoom in, see if I can reach it here. That's the magenta line that tells you that you're actually centering your text. Here it is. That's our lovely smart guide. Then you can let go once you're done. And now you can perhaps make the text bigger if you want. You can enlarge it. remember Alt Shift and Option in order to do that. Or we can also change the color of the text. You can treat this text as any text that you will be using in Illustrator. It's just that it's located on the path. Some other exciting option you might find under the type tool. So make sure to select your type, head under type, and then type on a path. Oops, it looks like my computer is having a little thought. Let's see what's going on. Here it is. It was just thinking. So click on the type, then type on a path, and type on a path options. And from here, you're going to be able to change where the text sits. So in this case, it's sitting on the baseline, which is just around the circle. And the baseline is basically the end of the small caps letter. Or you can have it on the ascender, which is the taller letter, and make sure to click on preview to actually see that happening. And of course, or the descender, which is the longer part at the bottom of the type. And of course, you can also have it at the center, so it will be aligned. That's completely up to you and to the project that you're working on. I'm happy to have it on the baseline, so it just sits nice and beautifully around, and click on OK. Last thing to do here is to make sure to create a background. Press the letter M to activate the rectangle tool, because we're working fast and smart, and click and drag. And now make sure to click and drag not only by covering the artboard. Remember, we talked about the bleed. The bleed is there to help you to create an extension of the background. Then let's go into the appearance panel and select a color. And then use the shortcut Command Return left bracket. That's a Control Return left bracket to bring it to the back. There is also another way in which you can draw something directly to the back, which is using the drawing mode located here at the bottom of the here they are at the bottom of the toolbar. So if you click on drawing mode and select draw behind, look what happens. If we go ahead and click and drag in order to design our background, it will be automatically behind. Now, don't forget when you keep drawing to go back and change the draw mode to normal, because otherwise you're going to keep drawing behind, and that's, might be useful for a background, but not for anything else. And then in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click to create a copy of the rectangle, and then Command F to paste it in front. And actually, before doing that, I'm going to click and drag to make a group. So I'm going to press Command G to group all the elements that I've designed. And then again, I'm going to press Command F to create another rectangle. Command A to select it all, and then press Command 7 to crop the image. So right now we have pretty much cropped and created a mask of everything that is sitting below our rectangle. And I'm just going to do that again real quick, because I know that I went very fast. So what I've done, I've simply created, I simply selected the rectangle and then pressed Command C, that's Control C on a Windows to copy it, and then Command F, that's Control F on Windows to paste it in front. Then Command A to select all, and then Command 7 to create the clipping mask. Now, I love to share these tips with you guys because it's very useful to learn how to work fast, almost like playing the piano when working with Illustrator. You will really take advantage of this shortcut. So it might sound like a little complex or different or many shortcuts, but it's very useful to remember them. Don't forget to share your file on Discord in order to export it. In this case, we're going to export it for screen because we're going to be shared on our screens on the chat. Use the option Command E in order to export it. Just select the artboard that you wish to export. Make sure that you select a destination folder so you know where your file is located. You can name it from here, and this is Challenge 08. And click on export in order to export your artboard. Then when we head to our Discord, I'm going to jump on the other side of the screen real quick. Make sure to head on the feedback challenge channel. Here it is. Click on this channel over here, and at the very bottom of the chat you will find a little plus icon. Click on the plus icon, and then you will be able to browse your machine in order to find the little tag that we have created. Click on open, and once you load your image, you'll also be able to add some text or comments. So maybe if you have a question, that's a perfect place to do so. I'm just gonna write challenge 08 and click on upload to submit it. Of course, you can submit your work also on your Behance Let me see if I can do that real quick. I know that we have less than a minute left. We already create a project. You can create a project by click on creating a project. I'm going to click on the gear icon and edit my previous project, and then click on the image in order to upload it. But the most important thing here is that when you do create a project on Behance, inside the settings, don't forget to use the hashtag AI Creative Challenge. Here it is. AI Creative Challenge under project tags. By doing so, when you update your project and you publish it, you will be able or to be featured on the Creative Challenges galleries, in particular the Illustrator one. That means that if you have the hashtag, the amazing Adobe Live team will be able to keep their eyes on your work and perhaps select it in order to be featured on the challenges. Of course, use the AI Creative Challenges if you're publishing your work online. It's time to say goodbye. I'm going to see you tomorrow with our last challenge, but stay tuned. Go and grab a glass of water. I'm just going to do the same. And then we're going to be working in InDesign for the digital editorial. I will see you in just a few minutes. Stay there and I will catch you here on Adobe Live. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me.